Most players think Kwon is just a guy with a hook. That's wrong. Kwon is not a hook hero. He's a momentum execution hero. And if you're only using his hook to pull enemies in front of you, you are wasting one of the most abusive kits in Bullet Echo. Because Kwon doesn't just engage. He breaks positioning. He forces bad fights. He turns defense into panic. And once he gets one clean kill, the rest of the lobby starts collapsing. In this guide, I'm breaking down the real way to play Kwon, the hidden hook mechanics, the weird pull angles, the speed abuse, the chain kill pressure, the revive utility, the ally rescue tricks, the projectile interactions, and the mistakes that make most Kwon players throw free wins. If you want to stop playing Kwon like a basic pull and spray hero, watch this till the end, because Kwon is not balanced, it's just badly understood. And quick shout out to Bargo for requesting this guide. If you want a hero breakdown next, drop it in the comments. Now let's break Kwon down properly. Kwon is one of the most oppressive gunners in Bullet Echo, if you play him the right way. Why? Because he has the three things that make a rush hero disgusting: damage, speed, and survivability. He hits hard, he moves fast, and he has enough health to survive the entry. That already makes him dangerous. But the real reason Kwon feels unfair is because he can force fights on his terms. That's why he can pressure heroes that normally slow everyone else down. He can challenge tanks like Ramsey. Smog, he can break static setups. He can punish people hiding behind cover like Bastion. And he can turn a safe position into the worst place on the map. Most heroes need a clean opening. Kwon can create one. That's why he snowballs so hard. He doesn't wait for mistakes. He manufactures them. The biggest mistake Kwon players make is treating hook like a simple grab. See enemy, hook enemy, spray enemy. That's beginner level Kwon. And beginner level Kwon gets punished. Real Kwon players use hook as a fight control tool, not just for pulling, for repositioning, for forcing angles, for triggering buffs, for breaking enemy spacing, for denying cover, for rescuing teammates, for dragging bodies into safer revive zones, for creating tempo, and for starting chain kills. If your hook only has one purpose, your Kwon is trash. Kwon's hook is a core of the hero, and honestly, it's one of the weirdest abilities in Bullet Echo, because this hook does not behave like a normal ability. It doesn't always feel clean. It doesn't always feel fair, and that's exactly why it's so strong. Kwon's hook has unusual range, strange hook points, weird interaction spots, and disgusting pull angles enemies never expect. That means you can drag people from awkward positions, around walls, through weird terrain edges, and from angles that feel completely illegal. That's why bad players call it random. It's not random, it's exploitable. And once you understand those hook points, Kwon becomes a positioning nightmare. This is where most players still don't get it. After hooking, Kwon gets a burst of momentum. That changes everything, because now the hook is not just engagement, it's acceleration. That means after the hook, you can instantly close distance, reposition around cover, swing a better angle, punish a retreat, or rush before the enemy resets. So don't think, I hook, now I shoot. Think, I hook, now I move faster than the enemy can recover. That one mindset shift alone makes your Kwon instantly more dangerous. Now here's where Kwon gets stupid. The moment Kwon gets momentum, the fight starts falling apart for the enemy team, because his kit rewards chain pressure. First, the hook itself can create weird, jerky pull interactions that throws off enemy reaction timing, spacing, and control. That tiny confusion window, that's enough. With Kwon, 1 second of confusion is a kill, and one kill becomes the next fight. Then once combat starts, his momentum gets worse for the enemy. When you hit an enemy, your fire rate increases. That means your damage starts ramping the moment contact begins. Then after hook entry, you get movement speed and extra pressure. That's why Kwon's engages feel explosive. You're not just arriving faster, you're arriving stronger. And after a kill, Kwon becomes even more disgusting. You gain self-heal. you gain tempo, and the enemy side becomes easier to collapse. That's why Kwon is not a clean duel hero. He's a snowball engine. Hit someone, ramp fire rate, hook in, get speed, get the first kill, heal up, keep moving, and force the next fight before they stabilize. That is the real Kwon cycle. If you play him slowly, you are fighting against your own kid. Kwon reward controlled aggression. Not random aggression, not reckless aggression, controlled aggression. And here's a sneaky detail most players miss. If your hook kills the enemy, but their drone still lingers on screen for a moment, don't switch your brain off too early. That tiny leftover target window can still help you track movement, maintain pressure, or squeeze extra value before the fight fully resets. This is not your main combo, but this is exactly the kind of micro detail that separates average Kwon players from players who milk every fight for momentum. And with Kwon, momentum is everything. And here's the part most players completely miss. Kwon's hook is not just an engagement tool, it's a utility tool, because it can interact with far more than just enemies. You can hook enemies, teammates, down bodies, crates, walls, objects, and even danger projectiles. That completely changes how you should think about the hero, because now the hook isn't just a starting fight, it's for controlling fights. You can use it to reposition off terrain, snap around cover, create weird entry paths, pull crates instantly, drag bodies into safer revive spots, save teammates from bad angles, or even pull allies out before they get finished. That's why Kwon is not just a rusher. He's a fight manipulator, a hero that can start the fight, control the fight, and save the fight. Is always dangerous. That's Kwon. Now the warning, and this one is important. Do not hook grenades, rockets, fire hunter projectiles, or any dangerous incoming explosive, unless you are 100% sure. Because yes, you can literally pull the problem into yourself. That means instead of making a highlight, you make a suicide clip. This is the difference between a smart Kwon and a content farm Kwon. Not every hook is a good hook. If it explodes, don't bring it home. If you want real rank consistency, you need to know how Kwon changes based on enemy behavior. If the enemy is camping behind shields, don't play their game. Use a hook to close the gap immediately and break their defensive comfort. You're not trading range here, you're deleting distance. If the enemy is hiding or camping out of sight, use the hook to trigger your entry pressure. The goal is simple. Get the speed, get the damage window, and rush before they stabilize. If enemies are rushing you, do not panic. Hook an open space. Use a cover. Use walls. Use lean mechanics. Use spacing. Peek from behind walls, so they can't get a clean target line. This is where good Kwon players look disciplined, not brain dead. In general rush fights, abuse walls. Keep your map awareness high. Pick up ammo constantly. Don't overstay dry. And don't chase blind into open death zones. Because yes, Kwon is oppressive. But if you rush empty, exposed, and without ammo, you deserve to die. So what is the real Kwon playstyle? Simple. You are not a patient backline gunner, and you are not a mindless all-in-8. You are a controlled pressure initiator. You identify the weak angle, hook where the enemy feels safe, use a speed burst, collapse before they reset, secure the first kill, trigger the chain, and keep the fight unstable until the enemy team breaks. That's how Kwon carries, not by flashy hooks, by forced tempo. If you've been using Kwon like a basic hook and spray hero, now you know why you'll fight feeling consistent. Kwon is not about the pull, it's about what the pull creates. Speed, tempo, confusion, momentum, chain kills, utility. That's the real hero. And if you want, I can make the next Kwon video too. Kwon versus every meta hero, or Kwon hidden hook tricks. And if you want the Kwon mod recommendations next, comment Kwon mods and I'll make that video next. So comment which one you want next. And if this guide helped you, drop a like, subscribe, and I'll break down more heroes the right way. Last stand isn't luck, it's control.
Ugh.